This is a collection of 10 scary stories for the spooky season. You may or may not have heard these stories before. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoy. Story 1. Park Bench. I was sitting on the park bench when it happened. A little girl about 6 came up to me, a piece of paper in her hand.
You know, I have a friend. You know what her name is? Isabel. She's my favorite doll.
Okay, that's nice. I watched her fiddle with her long chestnut hair.
Isabel's very nice. She wants to be friends with you. She will show her face to you tonight.
She grinned, then got up and walked off. I shook it off and read my book. For the rest of the day, though, the girl's words haunted me. That night, I pulled the covers near my head and was about to close my eyes when I heard breathing. I slowly opened my eyes. The last thing I remember was the doll's hollow eyes. Story 2. Fancy Dead People. The dark amulet broke under his feet, and I felt myself go with it. And maybe, I thought, I should have burned his as well. No! I screamed, trying to pick up the broken pieces of the amulet along with my soul. I wished, prayed that the devil will allow me a free pass. I was in debt, you see, and the payment? My soul. That's when the devil appeared. Drifts of thick black smoke surrounded him. Well, if it isn't my favorite customer. He grinned. Please, Crowley, I didn't know what the prophet... I was caught off with a grumble of my neck snapped. Crowley took a look at the broken amulet, a life snuffed out of it. He chuckled lightly, twisting the broken chain into his gloved fingers, gliding smoothly over the chipped gold-encrusted diamond amulet. I'll give you one more chance, Valor, and if you fail... A disembodied eyeball appears in his hands. This will happen to you. An emphasis as he crushed the dripping, clouded eye. I reanimated with the gruesome accuracy, bones melting back together, a large raised mask prompting from my neck like a collar. It was a tattoo of an eyeball with a skull, ever reminding me of what it is at stake. And at that moment, my eyes gleamed a pure black. Thank you, dear Crowley. Story 2. Dream. It was a late afternoon. He was sitting at the kitchen table, scanning the artwork on the wall. Then he heard a growl from upstairs. Somehow, John knew it was a zombie. He ran to the garage, grabbing the bike by the handle. He swung it over his leg and over the seat and started biking. John biked as fast as he could, the zombies right behind him. John was surrounded by them when he woke up. Thank goodness it was a dream, he thought. Then he heard a large growl from upstairs. Story 4. Beating Heart. Lily observed the dusty library of the museum. As you can see here, said the guide, there are books everywhere. Books are something you read.
They know that,
the teacher snapped. The guide was left wordless for a moment. Then he continued. Over here's the desk, where all the new information goes. He paused.
What's that?
A boy in Lily's class asked. What's what?
The thing in the jar. It's right next to the computer.
Oh, that? The guide didn't look happy. It's a heart. The class stepped back, scared. The heart seemed to be moving. That was when Willie realized it was still beating. Story 5. The Mannequin. She was doing her homework when she felt like someone was watching her. Melissa looked out the window. Outside on the balcony was a mannequin. It was a normal mannequin, a hand out as if it was displaying something, a huge smile. Its ashen-colored face was blank, head tilted at a sickening angle. Suddenly, a steel-edged butcher's knife rose from the shelf behind her. The blade spun rapidly until it abraded into Melissa's head, the tip protruding from her wide, terrified eye. Story 6. Melting in Blood. It was drama class. It was the ultimate chaos. Kids everywhere were playing with foam balls, screaming whenever they got one. I watched from the corner of the room. It was too loud. The foam balls were flying closer and closer to where I was. I wished this class would be over. Suddenly, everyone went quiet. I looked up from my writing. Everyone was slowly melting into a puddle of blood. I tried to run away, but I couldn't. Then I realized I was also melting. Story 7. Mulch. It was a sunny day. Noah had forgotten his notebook on the playground. Sure enough, when he went to get it, it was sitting on the swing where he had left it. Noah quickly grabbed it when he heard a noise. It sounded like a low rumble coming from the ground. Noah turned around. In front of him were knife-sharp pieces of mulch, ready to impale him, or worse. He tried to run away, only to notice he was slowly being pulled down into the ground. Noah tried to fight back, going closer and closer to the ground until he became part of the mulch. Later, his parents went to find him, only to find his body made entirely out of mulch. Story 8. The 7th Day. The 7th day, the last day of her life. Sarah looked nervously out of the window of her small apartment. If she expected to see a creepy figure or a head of a gun, she didn't know. Just then, she heard a knock on the door. Maybe it's the pizza guy, she thought. Sarah slowly opened the doorknob to reveal the pizza guy. She sighed in relief. As she paid the bill, she was about to eat a slice when she felt hands on her neck. Her time was up. Story 9. Pool After Dark. The pool was empty, all except for Natalia. She stood on the side of the pool, looking at the whale side. It had long stopped running, the sound of water on water confronting. Wait, how could that be? The water had stopped running hours ago. Natalia looked over at the water slide to see it had turned on. When came a sound of the whale slide, Bridget snapped her head to see what was in front of her. Gushing out of the whale's mouth was thick crimson blood. It trailed through the water, red spreading out towards the edges of the pool. Suddenly, it stopped, right in front of her. Story 10. Drowning. Water leapt at my ankles. I was sitting on the edge of the pool, the hard ground rough on the bottom of my thighs. I watched as an ant crawled down the pool's slide. As soon as it touched the water, though, it disintegrated. I jerked my feet out of the water. When the water funneled upwards, wrapping around my feet, my eyes widened, watching as the water slowly dragged me downwards. I flailed my arms looking for something to hold on to, but failed. The last thing I saw was the reflection of the sky and the water before everything went black. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. Stay safe this Halloween.